Peter wanted to encourage the believers to persevere in spite of their own suffering, trials, and persecution. You're going to see this as we go, because what we're going to do is as we go through the next several weeks, we're going to go kind of line by line through the book. But pay attention to this. He wanted to encourage them. He says, look, I know you're going through suffering. I know you may be going through trials and persecution, but I want you to kind of persevere in spite of that. And the reason I think this is an important point is because, well, first, this idea of persevere. One definition I saw for that said, is to continue to do or try to achieve something despite difficulty and discouragement. So if you find yourself in the midst of difficulty and discouragement, can you keep going and doing what God told you to do? That's this idea. As one of the 12 disciples, Peter understood that suffering is something that's going to be experienced, but it's something that he saw firsthand. He saw suffering. He saw difficulty firsthand, and you know what he did? He learned how to endure it with joy and victory, more so than with sadness and defeat. You say, well, Pastor, why is that a big deal? I think this is the big deal because if Peter is the one that is telling us about this, I think it makes sense, or it matters who gives you advice. It matters who's telling you to be encouraged, because if they've gone through it, they can tell you from a place of experience, right? They can tell you from a place of wisdom. It's similar to if Nelson Mandela, who was in prison for 27 years, said, hey, man, be patient. Patience, that kind of has some weightiness to those words, right? That kind of means something. It's like, okay, man, I got it. You know, that kind of weighs in a little differently. And so when we look at these words, we realize we're hearing from someone who's seen suffering firsthand and trying to offer us the hope that they experienced and learned in the midst of suffering.